Hey everybody, I have an interesting project to share with you today. This is a water tank inspection, a potable water tank inspection that I did recently for a water district in Northern California in the Santa Cruz area. This was a almost new tank. It was just about a year old, and so this was a warranty inspection to make sure everything inside the tank looks as it should. And for the most part, everything in here looked great. As you'd expect and hope for a almost new tank. So as I mentioned, yeah, this is a potable water tank. This is providing water for the citizens of a small town near Santa Cruz, and this tank is in service while we were doing this inspection, meaning water is flowing out, which is something you can't do with divers for sure, and but was no problem for us on this occasion. As you can see, there's a little bit of sediment in the bottom of the tank here. This is pretty minimal as water tanks go. Sometimes there'll be a foot of sediment in the bottom of a tank like this, depending on how long it's been in service and how long it's been since the last time it was cleaned. This is fed by well water, so there's a little bit of essentially dirt that comes along despite all the filtering and everything else that happens to the water before it gets here. These rods that are hanging down, and I'm pretty close to one right now, around the perimeter of the tank, those are part of the corrosion protection system. They're anode rods to prevent the steel of the tank being corroded or rusted by the water. If it in case that any steel gets exposed. Ideally, the coating on the inside, the light blue, paint kind of stuff, it's probably an epoxy layer here, will protect the steel, but that corrosion protection system is there to help make sure that the tank doesn't corrode should any of that coating fail. This gray pipe stuff here is the inlet and outflow piping. That steel plate on the right there, just disappearing from the screen, that's where water flows out from the tank out to serve customers. And then when they throw that system in reverse to fill this tank up, those vertical pipes with the black kind of flat, what they call like a duckbill diffuser thing, that's where water flows out from that same pipe into the tank to refill it. They run it, much like you do with a water system. If if you have a well and at your home, you run that big pump from the well to fill the tank, at full bore once in a while, rather than having it be kind of continuous flow. The whole point of a big water storage tank like this is to, fill it up really fast once in a while, and then let the water flow out gradually as people ask for it. Anyway, as you can see, the coating and everything on the walls here looks really good. This tank is in great shape. I'm going to land right here into the sediment. We wanted to see how thick it is and just get a little better look at it. So I kind of move slowly down here and then land in the sediment and then blow it off a little bit with a little bit of thrust from the thrusters here, and then move away to have a look at what we kicked up, just to see what it looked like. Yeah, as you can see, it's it's very thin, a millimeter or less here, and interestingly, it seems very heavy. Whatever, this is dirt, I guess, but I back off here and get away from the little cloud that I kicked up, and you'll be able to see in just a few seconds that clean spot that I made is gone already. I drive away here and turn around, and the sediment has covered up that spot that I had just cleaned off already. You can see the little kind of cloud kicked up there in the distance, but that clean spot's gone already. Kind of weird. But pardon me, that was my foot on a sticky floor. The only flaw that we saw here was these clamps that are holding part of the cathodic protection system here. These are just unprotected, uncoated steel clamps, and they're really rapidly corroding, and so that's something that the tank manufacturer should address here, because that's not okay. After this, we're going to take a look at some of the video that we recorded above water. I rigged up a GoPro on top of the vehicle to have a look at the roof structure of the tank. Often it's the above water portions of a water tank that corrode the fastest and cause the most problems. So getting a good look at the the roof and everything associated with it is really important. So I rigged some lights up above the water and this camera out of the water as well, so that we could have a look at all that stuff. And we just kind of drove around and took a look at all that, and happily everything looked good. This was sort of an improvised setup for this. I think I would do things differently in the future, but it worked well enough. Given that the GoPro shoots in 4K, so we could take still images out of the video and zoom in and really still get a lot of good detail out of this video. But as you can see, it's an almost new tank, and there's a little bit of surface corrosion and around the joints and edges and stuff on the roof beams here, but that's to be expected and totally okay. So that's the video, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.